Hi guys, welcome to my video about my experience from level 1 to level 80. I would like to make it clear that this is more of an opinion based video, so I don't expect everyone to agree with this opinion, but I would love to basically talk about this game, my experience, what I like about it, what I hate about it, what I would like to see changed in the future if they could do, and the things that I'm kind of concerned about my next step with playing this game. Because I feel like this game deserves a little praise, and we need to address elephant in the room as well about this, because I've seen a lot of videos praising this game a lot, and I feel like this video is going to be more of a 50-50 and tell you my experience, what I felt playing this game. And I feel like it's important for people to know certain things for the sake of the future of them playing this game, because there's some things I wish I knew that didn't really explain to me much in the game. So let's go back. Let's go back on level 1. Let's go back. Alright? So we're gonna go back and explain my experience, how I started out. So the first thing I need to tell you is that I tried this game like 4 times at least, okay? So I kind of forgot about this game and didn't like this game. And I just kind of just given up on it because I said to myself, oh, you know what, this game is not for me, blah 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 blah. But recently I started playing around early October, I think. And I think I started around when New World announced being closing down, because that was the first MMO I started playing this game, because I wanted to play something, and I had so much fun playing New World that it made me so sad to see the game was going down that I had to jump the ship. I just couldn't stay any longer because I was already getting attached to this game, so I needed something else. I needed my progression to go somewhere, and I already tried Final Fantasy 14. I enjoyed my time with this game. There's a lot of things I love about Final Fantasy, but this is not what it's about. It's about Guild Wars 2. So instead, I jumped over to Guild Wars 2, and I said, screw it, we're gonna try it again, and we did. We're not gonna give up. This time, I said, you know what, I'm gonna give this game a chance. The game's been told a lot of praise. It deserves its merit. So, it's my experience from level 1 to level 80. So my first thing I like about this game, level 1, is the game is very cool cinematic, very into the character. You're very personal to the story in this game. So one of the things I like about this game is the progression is very heavily focused on the story base. So if you want, no, every expansion will be relevant to the story and the content side. So already, immediately at the bat, no matter what content you buy for this game, they will be relevant to you at all times. And I think that's really cool, and I feel like that's really important to say that this is one of the coolest part about this game, is that you never feel like you're behind because of the way the progression is led to. So your experience in leveling up to level 1 to 80, you should never be worried about expansion at any point. Okay? So that's the best part already, immediately at the bat. So, but you do get a mount if you buy the first expansion, if you enjoying the game. So that's something important to disclosure. But there's always going on a sale. So you get the 2 expansion in one, the first 2. So if you want to get the mount, I highly recommend it. Like, if you invest your money and time into this game, the first thing I would like you to do is get the first expansion, that is the bundle with 2, and wait for the sale if you can. I promise you, the mount is going to make your life experience so much easier, going from A to B to C exploration, which we'll talk about that in a second. So level 1 to 60, level 1 to 80 has been an enjoyable experience. I really enjoyed doing the missions. It was very simple, your typical MMO side quest. But one thing I like about this game the most, and the thing that caught my eye a lot, is I love the exploration. One of the things I learned about when I was leveling up level 1 to level 20 is I loved exploring. And I loved enjoying exploring, doing those tiny little things around the world. That was very important to me, because you see, the game encourages you to explore, and it doesn't always force you to do the storyline. And once you hit the brick on to do next chapter of the story, it will tell you to be a certain level. And the way you would get that level is by doing the world exploration, which is one of the ways that you can get XP, and just by exploring. And what's really cool is that you can do that at any time. And I like to do exploring immediately when I'm exploring a new location, and that's one of the coolest things I like about this game. It's giving me a freedom to access this whole area of this map and explore. There's tiny little side quests everywhere that you can engage and immediately start playing them. You don't need to go talk to an NPC to do those side quests. You can immediately start there and do it. Bam, done. Get the money, get out, explore other location. Bam, done. Go explore this side. Bam, done. Really fun, really simple, and every map location feel memorable and special to me. Because, like, as a person who loves exploration, I love the fact that I can explore and do whatever I want. And so I feel like it's important for me to say that this is like amazing. Amazing. I like this a lot, and as a person who explores a lot in games, this is one of the best part about it. And the fact that it encourages me to do that as well makes me want to explore even further. And so I'm already like 49% completion of the base game, so you can already tell I invested a lot of time exploring. But there will be some things I don't like about this game. And so let's talk about, let's just continue talking the good side, and then we'll talk about the bad side later, because I feel like that's important to address that at some point. So let's keep talking the good side, because I love playing Necromancer. The skills are very unique, very special. I loved how everything about this class made me feel like I was a Necromancer, and the fact that you can do minion build, you can do like different weapon style of the Necromancer. So if you got an expansion, which mostly going to be relevant when you're level 80, but when you reach that level, you're able to specialize certain weapons that you couldn't use them before, so that's really cool. So, but you're already given a lot of things you can use already. So you get a sword, you get an axe, you get a staff, you get a horn. Hey, what else do you get? I think there might be another weapon you may be to use, but that is the base class that you can do with the skill ability of the weapons. Really cool. So you can switch between the weapons and use their abilities, and I find that really cool because it gives you that little bit of flexibility to choose what kind of weapon style you want to choose, and then everything else will be your specialization of your class that you can choose what you want in that side. It could be any in order, from my understanding. But the weapon specialization is designed specifically for the weapon style. Very different to your typical MMOs, and except for Final Fantasy 14, but we're not talking about that. Very typical of other MMOs doing similar same thing and just stick with one weapon. But Guild Wars 2 encourages you to experiment different weapons and find the playstyle that you find fitting and try to stick to it. And one of the things I really like about this game as well is that it's very forgiving depending on the class you play. Some more harder than others, some more easier than others, but gives you more flexibility to choose what playstyle you want to try. So it's the amount of exploration and design on the class that you want to pick. I chose Necromancer because I like Necromancer. I think everyone agree that Necromancer is one of the coolest classes in any time. Like, who doesn't like playing Necromancer, you know? And so I enjoy the fact that the game gives me so much freedom into doing what I want with my class, and I like that a lot. So let's take a breather for a moment, give it a minute. Now continue back to about the game. So we talked about exploration, we talked about the character design, I like the story. Your character plays a very important story in this game, which is one of the things I really like about this game. It's very immersive, it's very interesting. I do enjoy the slower paced gameplay, so I do enjoy giving an opportunity to be into the character of who I am in this world. So I really do like that a lot. And I do like how everyone be very kind and supportive of my questions I've been asking in this game. And I think I just really enjoyed this game a lot. And, you know, so now that we kind of disclosure the good side, I want to talk about the elephant in the room, because I feel like a lot of things that I had with this game I didn't enjoy it as much Is because I had to do a lot of research for certain things that didn't make sense to me. And so we're gonna go right back to my level experience in level 180 to 180 and tell you exactly what I mean. So one of the things I didn't really like is the inventory. So the inventory didn't quite make sense to me. I didn't know there was different types of bags to use. It was very confusing. And I didn't really like how the game didn't really explain to me where to find those stuff or do. And I was like very confused about like what do I need to craft certain bags, or how do I get them quickly as possible. And the reason why I bring this up is because when you start the game out, the things that you notice very quickly is you collect things and then it just holds your whole inventory with stuff you don't even know is relevant to you. You don't know if they're good for you, you don't know what to use them, you don't even know if they're even important to you. So it makes no sense to me, like, why would they give me certain things that I don't even know if it's going to be relevant to me? And that includes as well, like, gear. It doesn't really explain very well about what you should do with gear. You can sell it, you can scratch it, scramble it for materials, or you can destroy them. And a lot of times, the game doesn't really handhold you with those certain things, because it kind of expects you to, well, kind of know that, you know, because they would think that information is not very relevant to you. But as a new player, it made me feel discouraged because I feel like the game is not really guiding me anywhere. It's not pushing me anywhere. And that's one of the things I hated about us when I started leveling up, is the game didn't really simplify things the way for me to understand whether or not it was good for me. I was too worried and scared if I were to get rid of something that could be helpful in the long term. Turns out 88% of the time, or sorry, 80 or 90% of the time, those stuff that you pick up are just garbage, and you can just sell them. And you just find it in a merchant, and you just talk to the merchant, and you just click to sell junk, and that's it. And then, like, majority of the times they will sell the things that you picked up, and then the other half they don't sell. And then you start to think, oh well, why is this relevant to me? What do I do with this? Another thing that the game doesn't really tell you is it doesn't really tell you there's a little button on your inventory where like you can store all materials that used for crafting, and that doesn't really help me understand until someone pointed that out for me on YouTube. But if you were to be playing this game for the first time, you're probably gonna miss that part of the icon. You probably don't even know what it is because it's just not very clear. And so that was a little bit confusing. So you're gonna be clicking that button a lot, by the way, when you pick up stuff, like a lot, frequently. So it's not always easy to understand what weapons. You don't even know if you need as armor or certain weapons. Sometimes you pick up a weapon that cannot be used with your profession. So at most you can just sell them or scrap them for whatever materials. And the game doesn't really tell you how to scrap them either. So another thing that I don't like about them, like, it's this extra layer of like, hey, if you want to do this, you have to buy this Savager tools and to scrap certain things. Now again, I have no problem with this, but I feel like it's important to guide players to explain them more easier, to show them like, hey, like, you can do this, don't worry about it, worry about, like, you know, just playing the game, okay? And so I feel like that's important to make the player feel more at ease than not at ease. But we're gonna continue talking about this because it is another bad thing I hate about this game that I wish that it made it more clearer for me. And so okay, so now we disclosure the inventory and stuff. Another thing I got confused about a lot was that the game doesn't really explain to me combos, and I realized that you can do combos around when I was level 50, and I didn't realize because I hovered over to my skills and it said something about combos. Oh no, sorry, I think it was a pop-up message, I think it came up, and it told me that I could do a combo, and it was around level 50, and I didn't realize that you can do this combo until like level 50, and I'm sure the game message probably told me about it at some point, or probably never did, I don't remember. So another thing, the game doesn't really tell you things until really weird situations. And when I learned about the combos, I had to look up online, like a Wikipedia. And by the way, we're going to talk about Wikipedia a lot. And learn what the combos were. And it took me around like 5-10 minutes to fully understand what combo do and how they work, because there was like a combo finisher and just a normal combo, and then you kind of like collide them together, and then it does a result depending on the spell and ability that you combined to do that. It was confusing at first, but it took me roughly like 10 minutes to get an idea of what I was actually looking at. Because again, remember, I'm level 50. Why was I not taught about this any like sooner? You would assume that the game would hold your hand and tutorial, like put you in a tutorial arena and tell you like, hey, you need to go here to learn something new about this game. And it would make this game more easy to understand, at least at some perspective. And so, yeah, the game doesn't really hold your hand explaining you certain combos that you can do in this game. And it doesn't really hold your hand. And so, yeah, it's important to read your abilities as well and what combos do. So it just kind of helps you out. They're not relevant, but they're useful to know. So, again, one of the biggest problem I have is it doesn't feel friendly user experience, especially when you start leveling up. And you start to notice this more and more frequently as you continue to level up. And another thing I hate about this game is the game tutorial that I just mentioned about does not come with a tutorial, its own like little like category. No, it comes from achievements. And this is another one of the problems I hate about this, is that if you want to learn about certain things that is related to tutorial, you would have to find them in achievements logs. And why achievements? I don't know. I asked people why is that the case, and they just said it's been always the thing. Some said it's just connected, just easy to find out. Personally, I don't think achievements should be tutorial connected. I think that should be a separate thing. Tutorials are tutorials, and achievements are achievements. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't make sense for me how they collide and connect, like, in a new player perspective. I mean, like, if you compare to other games that exist, I have never seen a game in my life where achievements is collided with the tutorial together. It just feels very awkward, and it just doesn't feel very easy to understand where to get certain information. And keep in mind, it gets more confusing as we continue this topic, because you see, the game also doesn't really explain certain things that you should know about, very important. And one of the things that you learn very quickly is, what was the thing that they don't teach you very well, is that sometimes well, it does teach you, but it teaches you in a very awkward time. There will be a pop-up that's happening around the world where you might collide with that will tell you you can do something, but you can't because you don't either have something unlocked. That, like, for example, I touched one of the rift, and it told me I can level up my Skyclave, which is the fly mount. And keep in mind, I was like level 75 or something like that. And I haven't even touched a Skyclave because that is a 4th expansion if I remember correctly. But I get a pop-up that's relevant to this expansion that should not even be matter to me. So again, it just gives me certain information in such an awkward time that it should not be relevant. For a game that has a horizontal progression, it's very weird to pop up certain information that I'm going to forget in like God knows how many hours I'm going to put in this game. And so it's important for me to kind of just ensure people that this is the kind of thing you're gonna have to watch out for, and make sure you understand that this is not really fun for some, and it's not very forgiving when it tries to hold your hand. And so another thing I don't like about this game is I don't like the gem store. Like, that's a lie. I do like the gem store, but I feel like there's things I like about it. I'll talk about what I like about it first, and I'll tell you why I don't like about it in a minute. What I like about it is the fact that you can convert your gold money gems, gold money coins into gems. So you can easily convert them, grind yourself in this game, convert the gold into gems, and boom, you can use that into gem store that you can buy some really cool stuff like mounts, cosmetic, skins, some really cool goodies and stuff. But another thing, but the game doesn't really hold your hand. There's a lot of things that's locked behind a gemstone, which I personally think should not be locked behind. One of the things, like if you want to have like a template, like a commander template, like that shows up on the map, so you can like an icon on the player, so that everyone can see the player. You have to spend money on that. A functional part of MMOs, you have to pay for that to show up like as a icon on the map, like a commander player, if that makes sense. That's a really lazy thing to put in a store, okay? But there's another thing I hate about it, the store, is the amount of things that you can buy that you won't realize that they're not even that useful at all, or like even helpful. And then there's loads of things that you can buy in this game that doesn't really tell you what they're for. And so I feel like the game does a very poor job in giving you a direction what you should need to buy if you were to spend money, then rather than not to buy, because it just overwhelms you with so much stuff that you don't really know what to buy. And so you would have to use wiki or ask someone what kind of things you should buy in Gem. There's even a video YouTube about it. The fact that people have to like post this on YouTube video about it just shows how overwhelming the store can be when as a new consumer, and someone who has played this game for many years probably like clicks for them like that. But as a new player, it just doesn't feel right. It feels like this was designed for it felt like they deliberately done this so that it can confuse the players even further, not knowing what they want to buy. It makes me feel like discouraging to buy stuff. And the things that really got me under the skin is when I learned that if you want to continue doing the side story of expansion, that's not good enough, because like if you want to explore the whole story of the expansion, you have to buy something called the Living World, which is separate thing. Obviously there's a good reason behind it, which you can look that up in your own time, but the fact that you have to buy them to experience the storyline, to understand the sequel to the other expansion, it just feels so scummy, and I just don't appreciate that, because I'm already spending money on expansion and I'm already spending my time and consuming into doing things like that. But I understand the game is free to play, but was that really necessary to lock behind Living World like split content? Because it just doesn't feel fair, because at some point there will be a line where like it's not going to be a good line, you know what I'm saying? Like when the new expansion comes out, it will always be paid expansion, no matter how you look at it. You can buy the expansion with your gold, which is fine, by the way. You can grind, which is very forgiving, by the way, which I say is great. But it just feels like certain things are just so niche that they cut things out, and then you have to buy them again to experience something. And then at some point I ask myself, what's stopping them from going extra mile? What if you want to experience this new expansion, but then they will say, oh no, you can't get to use this new mount because that's a separate thing now. Now you have to buy that in the gem store. Like, you see what I'm saying? It's like, where is that line crosses over? And I'm sure that the Guild Wars 2 is a very successful game, and I'm by all means not saying that's a bad thing what they're doing. It just kind of is a bad thing, but to me, as a new consumer, it just felt like anti-fun, if that makes sense. And so that's my experience in this game so far. There's a lot of things I haven't touched yet. I haven't touched the fractals or the PvP side. That's why I didn't really touch on the subject. But because I'm mostly doing the story mode right now, I'm mostly leaning on my exploration on this game, and just in general, just enjoying my time with this game and the exploration. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you get an idea of what you get yourself into, and I hope you enjoy this game on your own time and your own pace. I can't wait to tell my next video once I complete it, possibly the first expansion, or maybe after the first expansion or 2 expansions. I'll make another video and tell you my experience after having all the things in my head and learning about the game. So hopefully by then, I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll catch you guys later.